So how do you find slope? Like when you look at your paper and it gives you math, how do you do it? So if you're saying rise over run, you're telling me that there's probably a line on your paper and you're
Yes, there's a graph.
so if you're using rise over run, there is a graph and you're counting. So that is option 2. Count. So if you have a graph, you're counting rise over run. Okay? In some scenarios in this class, you will not have a graph. So what is your other option?
y2 minus 1 y1 x2 minus x1.
The slope formula. How do you find slope? The slope formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. It's not terrible. Do you have to do this every time?
No.
Not necessarily. But that is your go-to way to find slope. Alright? So I need to have this in your mind somewhere. The slope formula. So the next thing says the slope-intercept formula. Y equals mx plus b. Is that anything new for you guys?
Nope.
Okay. What does m describe?
Slope.
What does b describe?
Y-intercept.
What is the slope of the formula y equals 3x plus 2? Thank you. Is x part of the slope?
No.
X contains the slope. Just the number 3. So you would answer slope. What's the y-intercept?
2.
What?
2.
What's that?
2.
Positive 2.
Positive 2.
It's always good to know positive 2 just in case you accidentally make a mistake and put it at negative 2. Alright? Is that anything new for you guys?
No.
Alright, let's try a pre-AP version. What is the slope of the equation y equals 3?
It's cause it's a flat line. It's undefined. It's oh, it's 0.
No, it's not.
Oh,
It's 0.
abounding confusion.
Because it's a
How many x's do you have?
Infinity. Wait, what? Oh wait, it's going up and down.
It's 0.
Wait. Because y is 3.
Y equals 0x plus 3. How many x's do you have?
0.
So the slope
Yeah. Is 0.
is 0.
Yeah, I knew that.
That means you go up 0 over 1. Up 0 over 1. That is a horizontal line. What is the y-intercept?
3.
Positive 3.
Oh, because the flat line. See, I knew that. That is not a Oh, I get it.
Boom. 0 lines go this way.
Yeah.
Left and right. Hence the 0 from Zorro. Or, right? Or, Zorro, a bunch of zeros in there for Zorro, yes.
My teacher taught us boy bucks.
What?
Boy bucks. So like
Oh,
boy
why?
is horizontal and it's 0 slope when it's y. And then bucks is vertical, undefined, and then
I have a better one for undefined, though. I love undefined. So let's go to
You
it.
scare me.
What's that?
It gives you that like dirty look of like he's gonna blow your
English?
mind.
So it's like you know in English you have the
Latin root.
the what?
The Latin root.
No, it's like that, you know. I can't explain. I don't know what it's called. So like, so that's 0. That's undefined.
Oh,
And then that's positive.
I see what you're saying. I don't know what that is. Never seen that before.
Never.
I have a better one. So here's where we are now.
Wait, are you talking about the picture?
X equals 3. What is the slope of that one?
Undefined.
X equals is always undefined. Does it have a y-intercept?
No.
Not necessarily. So, undefined goes up and down. Yeah, great. You're welcome. Undefined goes up and down. An undefined slope will generally look like this. Oops, sorry. You cannot divide by 0. So it says up 1 over 0, up 1 over 0, up 1. That's how you get a vertical line, because it goes up and down. That's why I write it vertically. Did you learn something new? Okay, so 0 goes left and right, horizontal lines, undefined goes up and down. You will have to do that in your near future. 0. So here's where we're at today. Baby steps. Can you find the slope that connects those 2 points? Straight up, just find the slope. So we'll use Miles, what he said, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I have to, as an adult, always go back and write x1, y1, x2, y2. Because sometimes I get confused. So I do myself a favor and I write x1, y1, x2, y2 there. y2 is 9. Minus y1 is 3 over 4 minus negative 5. Here's where we enter the Thunderdome. All we're doing is adding and subtracting.
Yep.
What is 9 minus 3?
6.
Confidence.
Something I know what I'm doing.
6 over 9.
4 minus negative 5.
9.
Are you sure it's not 1?
No, it's 9.
It's negative 1.
9.
Okay? When you encounter a subtraction, you guys suck at subtracting, and you will suck at subtracting next year in Algebra 2. You can always add the opposite, or 4 plus 5 is
9.
9.
He scared me.
My teacher taught us the triangle with the he split it in the triangle into 3 parts and then it was just
Oh yeah, I know what he's talking
positive.
about. It's like
I do this.
they're using different traces.
Double negative makes a positive. Okay, just either, it doesn't matter, however you want to do it. So, you probably won't see that answer as accepted. You can reduce that to
1/3. 2/3. 2/3. 2/3. 2/3.
Come on, Mike.
2/3. 2/3.
2/3. Alright? So the slope of the line that connects the 2 points is 2/3. Pretty basic. Okay? Just calculating slope. Now, if you don't trust yourself mentally, I would encourage you to use that machine on your desk, because you might wind up with something, well, this one's not as bad either. 4 minus 8 over 2 minus 1. And that's doing it mentally without writing your steps. That is writing steps still. 4 minus 8.
Negative 4. 1. Negative 4.
Sorry. I forget you guys are writing all of this. Right? So at this point in the deal, here's what we're doing. We're finding the slope that connects 2 points. And that's all we're doing. In hopes that in the future, you can find slope, generate an equation, and then generate an equation that is either parallel or perpendicular to the equation you just generated.
Yes.
Right? Why? Did you say why? Okay. Because I have an answer. Huh? Why? So you can graph a rectangle.
Oh, thanks. Wait, explain why we wait. Hold on.
It's geometry.
No,
So
you lost me when you said rectangle. Got it.
right,
Grasped.
and then we learned that if you have a line like this,
Yeah.
a rectangle is comprised of 4 right angles. So you have to find the slope of this and then create a line perpendicular to that one. So this is 90 degrees. Create a line perpendicular to this one. This is 90 degrees. Create a line perpendicular to this one. You've just graphed a rectangle.
Ew.
So it's taking that parallel perpendicular concept that we learned and it's doing it on the coordinate grid.
Got it.
And then maybe find the area of the rectangle.
Makes sense.
Not bad. Okay? Have you ever seen this guy before?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on point slope?
I'm not a fan.
Really?
That's nice.
I'll be
Did you
honest.
just say it's
Okay, so it is more work in some cases. It is less work in other cases. This is called point slope. You need to have at least have this written in your notes somewhere. There is a lot of negative reactions to this. Okay, you guys think negatively about this. The equation contains negatives. So that will manipulate your values as you get them. And you'll see that also again in Algebra 2. So, with point slope, you only have 3 things you can change. Right? This number or this value is blank, this value is blank, and that value is blank. Those are the only 3 things you can do. Add an x coordinate and a y coordinate, and add a slope. Then at that point, your options are limitless. It's really good. A lot of good things about this. Ready on the next one? Not yet.
Okay, so this is only based on 1 point?
1 point. So the point 1, 2, and a slope of 7/4.
So you would just plug it in, so then 2 would go next to y, and then it would be the slope, which would be 7/4, and then 1. And you just solve it from there.
No, that's it. That's done. That is a linear equation, but it's written in point slope form. Will I ask you to manipulate? Yes, probably.
Oh.
But right there is you pulling knowledge. You're fine. Okay? So it says, write an equation in slope-intercept form of the line that contains points J and K. So at this point, I need to write a full equation. Here's where student has so many options, they're not sure what to do. What would you do first? What do you need to write an equation? You need a slope, right? Let's calculate slope first. One minus negative 5 negative 2 minus positive 4. Terrifying. Very negative problem.
6.
1 minus negative 5.
6.
6.
Positive 6.
Negative 2 minus 4.
Negative 6.
So you can add the opposite. Negative 2 plus negative 4 is negative 6.
Negative 1. Sweet.
Because M is what we call slope.
McDonald's.
That's a good question.
Or it's a bird.
Sorry.
No, other people asked that in last class, and I forgot to talk about that. Okay? Do I have enough information to write an equation?
Yes. No.
Do you need the y?
You need the y-intercept.
Okay. I'm gonna let you be smart here in a minute, okay, Aaron? I need a y-intercept.
Yeah.
So right now I have this. Y equals -1 x plus something.
Got
What does it say? It says slope-intercept form.
it. Why don't you just solve for it?
That's exactly what you have to do. You have to solve for b.
So you just plug in 4 in.
You pick a point. I'm going to pick point k because they're smaller points.
Oh, darn it.
K is a smaller point. What is the y value of k?
1.
1. The x value of k?
-2.
-1 times -2.
1 equals 2.
+2
Minus 2.
minus 2.
I know it.
So b equals -1. Do I have enough information to write a full equation?
Yes.
What is my full equation?
Y equals -1x plus minus negative, or minus 1. I don't know what I'm saying.
Y equals -1x minus 1. Now, earlier I asked, do you have enough information to write a full equation?
Yes.
You did. And what form would you have written it in? So the point slope formula would have stated y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. And I'm filling in the blank here. So Aaron, which point did you use, J or K?
I use J.
Okay, so I have y minus
-5.
-5 equals my slope
-1.
times x minus 4.
Green.
At this point, you just math. Y plus 5 is equal to -1x plus 4. Subtract 5 from both sides. Y equals -1x minus 1. That's weird.
That's the same answer.
I got the same answer. Now, which way was faster, the black way or the blue way?
The blue way.
The blue way was a little faster, but most people don't like to do it that way.
Why not?
I don't know. The black way is just as good. The blue way is
I mean, some people don't,
faster.
not a lot of people know the other form.
So the problem with the black way is you may not remember what point slope is. You have y equals mx plus b nailed into your head, right? But do you have y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 in your head? Probably not. Okay? Look at all that beautiful math. All to find one stinking equation. And your calculator will do all that for you too, won't it?
Bless you.
I want you guys to graph this.
You don't?
Oh, because it's going to take you forever to actually draw a graph. Right? I just want you to guide me through this process.
Wait, I need the map.
We need to just.
Why?
It's point slope formula.
It's point slope formula. You have a point,
Yeah.
and you have a slope.
Oh.
Duh! Why any extra math? Because you're not comfortable with point slope, right? What is the y coordinate?
3. Positive 3. Positive 3.
The equation is y minus y1. So I'm subtracting a positive 3 because the negative is contained in the formula.
Yeah.
So my y value is 3.
3
My x value
is 1.
is 1. Hey, over 1, up 3.
Nailed
What's my slope?
it. Down 2 over 1.
Down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1.
Wait, where'd you get down?
Negative goes downhill. or up 1, up 2, back 1. Oh, that was doomed from the start.
You did that for us.
I can do it.
You believe in you.
Thank you.
Nice.
There it is. So, if you're not as comfortable with point slope, you could have mathed it out. Y minus 3 is equal to negative 2x plus 2, and then add 3 to both sides. There's your y-intercept at 5?
Yeah.
Same thing, okay? If you don't like point slope, just math it and go. If you do like point slope, just go. You're just skipping one step, all right? So the reason I made you do it this way is to get past these negatives. These are lying to you. If it says minus 3, it's really positive 3. If it says minus 1, it's really positive 1. And you'll have that discussion quite a few times in Algebra 2. Hey, is that really plus 4?
No.
What is it?
Minus 4.
Minus 4. Hey, is that really plus 3?
No, it's negative 3.
It's minus 3 because it's minus negative 3. So I have a point according to location. Negative 3, negative 4. Apply slope.
Up 1 over 3.
Up 1 over 3. Up 1 over 3. Up 1 over 3. And I could math it all the way out and still get the y-intercept of negative 3 if you wanted to see it. Okay, do you see the benefits of point slope right now? Sometimes, maybe, not all the time. All right. Now you have to write it in slope-intercept form. So copy that one down. I want you to change it to slope-intercept form. So it has to be y equals mx plus b when you're done. My notes are kind of out of order. We've already done this quite a few times, right? So just be careful when you have a negative slope that the negative carries through the distribution. Negative 2 times x.
Negative 2x.
And then plus 7. Both sides.
Y equals negative 2x plus 9. Is anybody having any issues with that?
Nada.
Okay, yes ma'am.
I'm just like very terrible at understanding. Can you just slow it down?
Yes, that's fine. You're going too fast. Okay. Can we go anywhere? Wait on this one a little bit? Okay. So, in this scenario, you just apply PEMDAS, right? Multiply first, and then add. You're solving for y to make sure it looks like y equals 2x plus y equals mx plus b. And you'll love it next year when you get to Algebra 2 and you do PEMDAS backwards.
Why?
Why not?
For inverses.
That's the.
Right? Am I lying? I'm not lying. They do PEMDAS backwards, it'd be great.
It's like against my.
Okay, here's another one. We have a slope of 3, and it passes through
Oh, I got this.
negative 2, 6. I want you to write an equation in slope-intercept form. So you should have something that looks like this when you're done.
nailed it. It's kind of squiggly, but yeah.
Too much work.
What? Math
Okay, so here's what Blake did.
in my head.
Here's what Blake did. He used point slope formula. He said y minus y1 equals slope times x minus x1. Y minus 6 is equal to slope
3.
x
Plus
minus
two.
negative 2.
I just did.
And then I like to write x minus negative 2 so I can change it to positive 2.
Got it.
That makes me happy. And then he applied mathematics. Y minus 6
Equals 3x plus 6. And then you minus 6 for both sides. Or no, plus 6 for both sides. And you get y equals 3x plus 12. That's too much work apparently.
way too much work. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, all these steps. Baker. I want it in slope-intercept form. I have a y point, 6. I have a slope, 3. I have an x point, negative 2. I have a b that I'm looking for. 6 equals negative 6 plus b. Add 6. Add 6.
That's too much work.
Huh?
That is not way less. That's less work.
Different strokes for different folks. Still gets you the same answer. At this point, you have to understand, go back and rewrite your equation. In this juncture, your equation is already written for you. I would have to go back and say y equals 3x plus 12. I'd have to write that for myself. Different strokes for different folks. I'm just trying to make you better at something you already know. And here's where the fun happens.
Wait, what's the confusing part there? Never mind.
This is where.
Baker put it on.
Yep, here it is.
Oh, fun. Slope.
You can just watch.
Oh, you already have the slide. Yeah.
Aha.
No, you don't.
What?
Yes. X equals 0.
You have B.
Okay, so the fact that you've noticed that you already have B.
Yeah.
Because
It's 5.
0, 5 is a y-intercept. That saves you from doing a lot of other stuff. All you have to do now is calculate slope.
So you do y1 or y2 minus y1. So it's negative 2 over 5.
That would be your slope.
Snailed it.
Now, if you're trying to write do you have a slope?
Yes.
Y equals negative 2/5 x. Do you have a b?
Yeah, 5.
You have a hidden b right here.
Nice.
The fact that you know that 0, 5 is the y-intercept saves you a lot of work. If you don't know that, you can go through all the other pre-described steps that we've already taken. Yeah? Hello, yes, yes. Another fun one. Oh, skipped it. The last one. The last one.
Wait a minute. Wait. Is it an undefined line? What?
Alright, I have x1, y1,
Yeah.
x2, y2. y2 minus y1 over
Yeah, you're right. And then
6 minus
minus 4.
4.
So it's 0 over 2.
Oh, wait. Oh, it's.
Now, what is 0 divided by 2? How many times does 2 go into 0?
Nada.
0 times.
Oh, so
Minus.
it's. Ah.
Your slope is 0.
Wait, I don't need slides. You can just tell what it is.
Your slope is 0. Your slope is 0.
Oh, it's a horse.
Your slope is 0. Stop thinking past that. The slope is 0.
Yeah, the slope is 0.
Okay? Y equals 0x
Minus 3.
plus b, because you don't know what the y-intercept is. Plug a number in. Negative 3 equals 0 times 4. What is b?
3.
Negative 3.
Frickin'.
Do you write y equals 0x minus 3?
No.
No.
No, you just write
Y equals negative 3. So it's a horizontal line.
it's a horizontal line. 0 slope. Okay? You need to have in your mind the difference between two divided by 0 is undefined. Calculator says error, error, error. That's an up and down. This one says up 0 over 2, up 0 over 2, up 0 over 2. This one says up 2 over 0, up 2 over 0, up 2 over 0. It gives you the directions based on the slope. That's why this is undefined and this is 0. All right? In anticipation of all the heartache, does this touch y anywhere?
No.
X equals 3, up and down, undefined. Does this touch x anywhere?
No.
Y equals negative 1. Okay? So hopefully we're a little more confident with parallel or with writing equations. We're going to practice a little more tomorrow. We'll introduce parallel perpendicular on Friday. Monday you'll have a sub.
Fun.
I have created 4 questions for you. 4.
Exactly 4 questions. Math. Are we supposed to find the slope or the equation of each line?
You're supposed to find the equation of each line. If you get confused, I've written a bunch of notes on the front for you how it looks. So it's not going to be terrible. You know, x equals 4, x equals negative 2, x equals this, x equals that, y equals this. Y. There's only 1 or 2 slanted lines that you must find. Okay, you can count the slope and look at the y-intercept. It shouldn't be terrible. And then at the end of it, you must find the area of the shaded region.
What? Did you just count the squares?
Or you could do length times width and length times width, or find some triangles, base times height, 1/2 base. It's nothing crazy, guys. It's 4 questions. Why? Because this is on your test. There's 1 question like this in your test. And it looks like a square or something like this in the front. I gave you some notes in the front. It's 4 questions. It should be fun. It's a lot better than these like super tiny little black figures that you can barely see, right? So I spent time yesterday drawing these awesome mathematical symbols for you.
Nice.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Here's your homework.
Wait, what? Where did it say? 3 7. Cut some light.
Tomorrow you will not have homework.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is designed, right? We're supposed to spend 2 days on this. Tomorrow is designed for me to work on this with you. Okay? So do stuff. That way we don't waste our time. I do have 2 things that I need to cover that are tested that you probably have never seen before. And it's just the same things with different flavor. So if you could do half of this, like 1 or 2 from each section, a couple from each section, all of it would be great. I'm going to go through some of these questions with you guys tomorrow as we start class. And then I'm going to hand you another 3-7 worksheet, the harder one. And we're going to work through, I'll do one, you do one. I do one, you do one. I do one, you do one for the rest of the period. Okay? That make sense?
Is it still going?
Yeah, it's still going.